Buy. Couldn't find any examples. I didn't get a chance to look. I got called into a meeting, so I had only a few minutes to prep really for this class. So unfortunately, I got called into positive meeting, good meeting, but unfortunately, I got called away. So sorry, I could not get to you. Okay. All right. Okay, let me see if this is the right one. Okay, I've got another resource for you guys that I'm going to be sending you guys in 1 second. Okay. Oh, bollocks. How's everyone doing? Okay, let's get our brains wired.
Did you already ask that question?
I hate you so much. Come on, yes. Okay. All right, and you guys should have seen I updated the grade book yesterday, so everybody should be good to go, right? Right? Okay, good. All right. So that being said, let's get started. Okay, so again, your test is tomorrow. Okay, it is going to be 10 multiple choice, 5 short answer, and 1 code. Okay, the code more than likely will deal with inheritance. Okay, I would almost say 100% it's going to deal with inheritance. Okay, so that being said, this is your opportunity to ask questions. Okay, as many as you can, as well. What's it called? I will be. Where is it? As well, it should be good to just anything. Everything is going to be fair game. I wouldn't say it's going to be a lot like a final, but it would be pretty close. Okay. So give me 1 second. Okay, so take a look at this question here. Okay, nice little warm-up question. Here we go. All right. Further the definitions of class 1, class 2 below. Public class 1, public void, method 1. Okay, other methods not shown. Public class 2 extends class 1. Public void, method 2. Other methods not shown. Consider the following declarations in a client class. You may assume that class 1 and class 2 have default constructors. Okay, class 1, C1 equals new class 1. Class 1, C2 equals new class 2. Which of the following methods will cause an error? Do not. Okay. Okay, we good? All right. How many of you think it's A? Raise your hands high too. How many of you think it's B? How many of you think it's C? How many of you think it's D? And how many of you think it's E? Okay. The correct answer is B, one only. The reason why is this is inheritance. Class 2 is extending class 1. When you call on C1.method2, is there a method 2 in here?
No.
So for those of you who chose, like who didn't think it was one, that is how inheritance works. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, that is how inheritance works. All right, C1.method2. Understood? So, or I'm sorry, C1.method2, you can't, because you extended, this one is said and done. You can't re-add anything unless you go back up into it and add it. You cannot go through and re-add, okay? So for example, let's say Gary, let's say Gary's mom and dad are Chinese. And then Gary marries a white girl, okay? That doesn't mean that his mom and dad now have white qualities, all right? It doesn't like creep through the bloodstream and go back up, okay? So, all right, you know, they don't have a sudden affinity for yachting or something like that, okay? That's not how it works. I don't know if that's a white quality or whatever, I don't care. So, okay.
Isn't like clapping a white quality?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's say like, for example, let's say like Uma's parents are Indian, okay? Right? And then Uma like decides to, you know, go out with Dylan, okay? That doesn't mean wrong choices creep up to her parents. You know, that just stays with Uma, okay? So, just kidding, Uma. Okay, so, don't worry, Uma.
It's too early for this.
I know you're better than that. Okay, so all right, so that being said, let me open up my Eclipse. And again, anything is fair game. Okay, at 7. So more than likely, guys, 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock okay for you guys, or is that too late? Hold on. I don't think you've been putting on enough lip balm. Go ahead, you've been put some more on. Okay, anything is fair game. All right. Okay, if you feel comfortable, now again, it's going to be cumulative. I'm going to ask specific questions, you know, throughout the whole thing, but it's pretty much a cumulative exam for the most part. Okay, inheritance questions. I will be writing the inheritance questions more than likely, and more than likely as well. No, I'm actually not going to say, but it's 10 multiple choice, 5 short answer, and 1 code. The code will be inheritance. 100%. You need to know it, okay? More than likely what I will do is, just to give you guys kind of a heads up, I will give you the super class, okay? I'm gonna give you the super class, and I'm going to ask you to write an extension of the super class, an inherited extension of the super class, but with modifications. I'll cover everything from overriding to overloaded constructors to both uses of super, okay? Things like that, all right? I'll be going after you for all of those, all right? Again, more than likely, I'm going to give you the super class, okay? So that being said, it's free review, fair game to everyone, okay? If you have any questions, guys, I don't care if you ask me about ints, okay? You can ask me anything. That's what this is for. If you ask me about ints, I will be scared, and 9 times out of 10, I will make fun of you. But just know that you can ask, all right? All right, Alex, bye.
Is there going to be that like polymorphism stuff?
No, polymorphism. So I thought I told you guys, if I didn't, that's my fault. Ignore polymorphism. We're going to cover polymorphism in a day, guys. You'll understand. If you understand inheritance, you'll understand polymorphism. Put it like, I know some teachers at other schools that take like a week and a half to 2 weeks to teach polymorphism. They're what I like to call shitty teachers. Okay, if you teach inheritance right, polymorphism is done in 25 minutes. You guys will catch it like that. Okay, so there will be no polymorphism questions. I probably won't even touch on polymorphism till second semester when we go into 2D arrays, when we go into array lists, and when we go into recursion, things like that. But again, we're going to take a little break and go into graphics first. Okay. All right. So Alex, again.
So if a subclass has like a constructor with a parameter, then the superclass has to have like a default constructor, right?
It had to have. So if the subclass has a constructor with a parameter, and again, I'll give you a heads up right now, probably not going to give you any questions with default constructors. So if the subclass has a constructor with a parameter, then yes, the superclass has a constructor with a parameter. Okay.
But does it have to have a default constructor as well?
No, it does not. It does not have to. Will.
Does the super's job's just to access the variables from the other class, right?
No. The superclass, so for example, what the superclass is doing is you're inheriting everything the constructor did. So for example, in this here, so when I say super right here, okay, I'm inheriting the protocol for the way that the variables were initialized, but I'm also inheriting the way that this was initialized, and I'm inheriting this print statement. So you know how down here super can drive is basically saying, okay, do everything that was in this method. When you're saying super, you're basically saying do everything with this that was in the constructor first, including, but because you had parameters that initialize global variables, you need to add parameters to my super. So you're getting everything. Gary.
So when you use super in the in the constructor of the subclass,
Yes.
you have to inherit everything. You can't
You
just
have
pick
to
and
inherit.
choose.
So there's no way to get rid of this object completed. You just, the only way to get rid of it, if I were to delete it in the super class, you're gonna inherit.
Okay, so you couldn't do like super grade, right? That wouldn't work. Right?
No.
Unless there was a separate constructor of only. Okay,
Correct.
I see.
Correct.
And then for the super in the method, it just inherits everything in the method.
Correct. And
Okay, got it.
and again, the difference with the constructor and the method is when a constructor super must come first, but in a method, it can go anywhere. But be careful. Be careful. Like for example, here, this is a void method, right? Take a look at the return types. Always do that, because if you're going to use super and there's a return type, you've got to store that data somewhere. Or if you're returning what it originally did times something, or using it in some type of an equation, then you could do that as well. You could use it in the return. Thanos.
Can you go over errors like null pointer exception?
Yeah. So for example, let's take a look at this one right here. We're going to go into the superclass really quickly, okay? So for example, I did this yesterday when we were going over the array list, right? So I'm just going to make this, I'm just going to comment this out real quick. All right, so, okay, all right, so for example, right now I have older, we're just going to say 5, okay, just for right now, right? 5. All right. So actually, you know what? I can do this. Actually, can I? Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll undo this. Hold on one second. All right. So let's say we have this here. All right. We have this. Everything is good, right? So if I print this out right now, okay, it's going to say object completed, older, object completed, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to say name John, grade 5. Do you guys mind if I just get rid of these print statements for right now? Is that okay? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I have this here, take a look. Okay. So name John, grade 5. All right. Now let's say, for example, let's say that, that I didn't have any of this, right? Let's just say that I didn't have any of this, okay? Right now, if I tried to call on x index 4, it would be null. By default, when you create an array and you declare the size, everything by default is null. It's still taking up space. However, if I were to say x equals null, the array still exists. But what I've done technically is I deleted this. Theoretically, what I've done is I've just taken this whole line on line 14 and turned it to that. Okay. So now if I were to call on x index 4, I'd get a null pointer exception. And the reason why is because I don't have an index 4. I've erased everything. I have to say x equals new, older. And now if I do 8, now I would be good to go. Okay. So very rarely you're ever going to see this, but you have to understand what it is. Okay. The null pointer exception happens here. Okay. And that is when you basically have erased the size of the array and you haven't reinitialized it yet. So you're trying to call on something that doesn't exist. Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Alex, what's up?
What chapters of the book should we read to like prepare?
Good question. Hold on. I haven't transferred everything to my new computer yet. Sorry. So I'm going off my old hard drive. Let's see. Is it in here? Bollocks. No. Where is it? It's not in there. It's not. Is it in here? Ah, there it is. Oops, I didn't download Acrobat yet. Obviously 1 through 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And 35. Yeah, I'm still deciding whether or not I'm going to teach you guys writing files from a disk and stuff like that. Wrapper classes aren't really covered heavily either too, other than parsing. So may not go over those, okay? All right, next question. Okay, some of you need to ask questions, guys. I know it's a free game. I'm not going to feel bad if you don't do well.
So I'm still a little confused within the super. You did super, grade, and then comma x.
Yes.
So you still inherit like the drive equals false though, right?
Exactly. So just like Will asked, you've got to remember. So what you're inheriting everything. You're inheriting everything. So it's basically like when you say super.can drive, you're basically saying, okay, you get everything that was in the method before you overwrote me. Okay. What super's doing in a constructor is saying, okay, you're going to do everything before you do any new changes. You're going to do everything that I did before.
Okay, so what's the point in doing super and then grade and x inside of the parameters?
Because here's the thing, because what's happening is it's just a rule. You need your own constructor. If you have a constructor with parameters up here, you need your own constructor up here or down here. Okay, if they have 2 default constructors, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter at all. But here it does.
So you only need to put in the super parentheses what's in the parameters.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for example, if I did this, let's say I made another global variable here. If I said private string school, okay, and then I called on okay, says string school. Notice there's still no error. Okay, I can add as many as I want. The only things that matter is the first 2. should match the first two in the superclass. Okay. Then down here, I can say this dot school equals school. Okay. Or if I wanted to, set it to null manually. Doesn't matter. Either one works. Okay. Anything, but what am I doing? This is all new stuff. Again, super is saying do everything here first, then you can get to your stuff. That's what super's saying. Alex, you had a question.
So say we had like two things with the same parameters but different names, two methods, and then we use super. And since for super we're only inputting the parameters, how do we know which one we're calling on?
Repeat that question again, because I think you answered.
So say we have two methods with different names but the same parameters, and then we use
Hold on. Different names, same parameters, or same name, different parameters.
a different name, same parameter.
Okay, so then they would be, so method 1 index, method 2 index.
Wait, I'm not sure what you mean.
So you have two methods with they have the same parameters, correct?
Yes,
But not the same name.
not the same name.
So then so they would just be two random different methods.
So if you like use super, how do you know which one you're calling on? Because you're only inputting the parameters.
Are you talking in regards to constructors or methods?
Oh, I meant constructors, my bad.
You're not going to have that.
Okay.
You're not going to have that. Okay. And basically if you had, so let's say I have public review int grade string X like this. Okay. So let's say I have this one. Oops. Let's say I did a default constructor, but in this instance, okay, I just did string X and I said this dot X equals null like this. Okay. So you're talking about something like this, right?
Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
Okay. So when you comes to this, okay, okay. So, all right. So when it comes to this, okay, you're only going to need to do one constructor. Now, can you do both constructors? Yes, you can. Okay. But you're only going to need to do one. Will you ever get anything like this? No. Will you ever see anything like this in real life? No. Okay. This is bad programming. Okay. Because why would you just get one and not the other? Okay. This makes sense, drive or whatever. That makes sense because you can override it in the inherited class. Okay. With the setter, but you wouldn't ever get anything like that. Okay. I see what you're saying, but in this case, you would only need to do one of the parameters. So for example, I could do this. Okay. And then I could just do, and now it's just doing that constructor. Okay. Could I also do this? Command copy. And then bingo. Okay. But if you have an overloaded constructor, you only need to do one. Here I've done both. Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else? Eon, any questions?
I'm all good.
Dylan. Euban. Will. Yes, Will.
Use like, what's the point using void? And
So void is just, I mean, it happens all the time. You just need it. Let's just say you need to change something. Like for example, in set Boolean, I just need to change it. I don't need the data back. I just need to change it.
okay.
Okay. That's it. It's like if you only need to, if you need to do something really quickly and you're not really worried. Like let's say, for example, we had 2 arrays, okay? And I had a method that switched them. I just want to, and this is for testing purposes. So I want to see what would happen if I switched the 2 arrays or something like that, or what they would look like. Okay. I could switch them and then print the arrays in the method, but the arrays themselves never get changed. So with a void, it would just print out a print statement, or I just, like I did with that swap problem, you know, nothing gets returned. So I could either just screw with you, you know what I mean? So with void, it's just like void is there generally, at least at the AP level of what you're going to see, or in professional programming, you just need to change some data. And it doesn't need to be, you don't really need to have it spit back to you, but you do need it changed. Like for example, here, okay, when we're doing the can drive, when you call on that, I don't really need to know. I don't really need the data back saying true. What am I going to do with that? But at least it's there knowing that it did get overridden. Uma Desai, any questions?
Everything I had as a question was already asked, so I'm good for now. But
You sure?
don't say that.
Okay, all right.
No, because then I feel like I am missing something.
I'm saying, are you sure? As in, like, you got to remember, everything's fair game.
No, I know. I don't have any like specific questions.
Okay, Lance. Getty Woo.
I think I'm good on this point.
Okay, Thanos.
How would you overload can drive?
Overload can drive.
Yeah. Would you just add a parameter?
Yep. So if I did public, you can still see, right?
Yeah, we can see.
Public void can drive. And this time, let's say I actually took in user data to determine whether or not they can drive. Then I can do set drive with drive, and then super.can. So now I can call this method in one of 2 ways. I can just call it, or maybe there's a special exception that there's a possibility, you have to put in their data. Then you can put it in. Now this is overloaded. Both can't, same name, different parameters. Okay. Now take a look. Is this still overloaded?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or is it not?
Is this still, you ask me, Thanos only.
Yeah.
For me, you tell me. Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
Why would you think that?
Because when you call on can drive, you're not saying if it's an int or void, you're just saying x.can drive and you put in a Boolean. So it's not
Bingo.
really going to change.
Bingo. This doesn't matter. Okay. This doesn't matter at all. The return types don't matter. What matters is the name of the method and the parameters. Okay. This is still considered an overloaded method. Okay. So good job, Thanos. Alex, I saw you had a question.
Oh, I already figured it out.
God, smart kids. Henry.
I don't really
Floor
have
is
any
yours.
questions right now.
Okay, are you 100% sure? It could be on anything, Henry. You got the time. The floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, I don't have any questions particularly right now.
Okay, if you have some, bring them to the review tonight.
Okay.
Okay, the review is not just to see this sexy face here, okay? It's for knowledge as well. That's just part of the bonus. Okay. Yes, Alex. Alex, you got a lot of questions today, brother. This is the most I think I've ever heard you talk.
Because I'm freaking out. So
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that.
that's not good.
Oh, not good. That's what I meant. Not good. That's what I meant. Yeah. All right,
So-
Alex, what's up?
So for the review tonight, could you prepare like one of those inheritance? methods?
100% I will.
All right,
That
thank you.
one I will try to do. Okay. I will try to find something. And if I can't find something, I have like 2 or 3 alternate questions that I would use for tonight's test. I'll throw out one of my alternates. Okay.
All right, thank you.
What time is the review tonight?
I guess 8 o'clock wasn't said enough, huh?
No.
No, it wasn't? Nope. By the way, Lance Logan, playoff implications. You've got to win Thursday. Do not lose to Reseda. Okay? This is literally the last week. You have to win. Okay? Right. Anyone else? All right. So if you don't have any questions, then I will. What's that?
Can you use break and continue in for loops?
Okay, you can use break and continue, but break should be the terminating statement. Some of you guys in your like, you guys, like some of you just got lucky as hell on your AP questions where you gained a few points. I think Logan, you had a very intricate way that you did your free response for part B. Okay. You got points because you did see some zeros, you saw more than 1 0 and you compared multiple zeros, but you used continue and I think you used break in like the wrong order and it killed you. Okay. There's no need to use, I can tell you this. For my test for the most part will follow some of the AP guidelines, but for example, like continue, I needed you to know what continue is. More than likely, I won't ever give you a problem from now on that has continue. So if you're using it continue in a for loop or a while loop or even a for each loop, there's no need to do it. So just remember that rule of thumb, guys. If you have a sudden thought of thinking to use continue, you're already doing it wrong.
Can we meet with you like outside of class to go over the test?
Yeah,
Okay.
preferably like that stuff I would preferably prefer to do on the weekend. Would you guys be okay with that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
The weekend, yeah, we can do that on the weekend. I can actually set aside some time because believe it or not, my back is feeling amazing right now. I don't know what happened, but literally I went from being in complete pain and barely walking to my desk. After I was done with your class, I felt a bone in my back pop and I just kept teaching and teaching. And then when I got up, I had absolutely no pain. So I'm guessing like my sciatic nerve just got unpinched, which is a great thing. So Sunday we can do a review day. That's fine. These tests I want to have these tests graded and out of the way. So hold me to it. Expect these tests to be done at the latest Saturday. Okay. That way Sunday, what I can do is I can set up a Google sheet and we can set up times that we can meet.
Are we gonna have to know switch case?
What? No.
Do we have to know
No.
switch case?
No. Bye.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but how many points is the test going to be?
So how many times? So multiple choice is always worth how many?
1,
1.
Free response is already worth how many?
2.
So that's 20 points right there. 10 multiple choice, 5 short answer, and the code more than likely it'll be AP level, or it could be one of the. If I wrote it, we're looking at about 12 points. AP level 9 points. So it's going to be between 29 and 32 points. Okay.
Is yours or the AP's harder?
Mine's harder. Come on now. I'm an ass. Okay. So, but I'm aware of this, so it's okay. That's why I get the girls. All right. Okay. Anyone else? Don't throw up, Uma. Anyone else? Okay. All right, guys. I'll put this recording up. I want you guys to, again, bring your questions for tonight. over everything, make flashcards. That's one of the best things you can do with programming. So you have examples. Okay. Make flashcards. I will send you guys a book that you guys can use, another book. Okay. There's also this website here, which is actually pretty decent. Hold on one second. Okay, this one is actually a very, very, very good site. Okay, have you guys ever heard of Fiveable?
We can't see your screen.
I know that. I'm just asking you. Have you guys ever heard of Fiveable? Okay.
No.
All right. So, okay, Fiveable is a very good class, or it's written by a Cornell student. Okay. And what it is it's unit by unit studying for the AP exam. Okay, Boolean expressions. Okay, and he's got examples. So, for example, arrays. And I think, let's see, writing classes. Okay, obviously you wouldn't need to know this, but like you've got everything here that you can go through. Okay, so I'm gonna put this link right here in the chat for you guys. Okay, but it's a good resource. Okay, right? It's a very good resource. It has some explanations and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a very good overview. Okay. All right. So, anybody have any other questions?
Are we gonna have to know like the PEMDAS for like Boolean or like
Always. You should always know that.
Like the and the or type PEMDAS?
Always know that. But I'm not going to give you any questions on that. This test will be object heavy. Object, array, and string method heavy. Okay. Well, you need to know your if statements. We need to know your for loops. Absolutely. But it's going to be object. It's going to be that type heavy. Okay. All right, my brother from another mother. My mister from another sister. Okay. All right, guys. Great class today. You asked good questions. Alex, I don't think I've ever heard you speak this much. And the fact that you're freaking out for some reason excites me. So, okay, I will talk to all of you guys later. And remember, Alex, not everyone was meant to go to college. Okay, guys, I will talk to all of you later, okay? All right, you guys, my former students are all used to that already. They've heard that multiple times. All right, guys, take care.